recording button because that's all I needed to hear, and I'm gonna hit the streaming button. And I don't know why I do those out of order. Don't ask questions. We're back. So Tim and I live together now, actually, and the process of moving in when you don't own a vehicle capable of moving your stuff is painful and tedious and long and annoying and also bad. So we missed a little bit of Wrath of the Righteous.
Or in my case, just expensive.
Or in your case, just expensive, yes. But we're here. We made it, and we're back for more of that Wrath of the Righteous. The party's hit level 3. The party is heading to a familiar place. Though I imagine lots of people here in game will maybe have forgotten because it's been a couple weeks. But in any case, boys, thank you so much for your support. Thanks for all your help. Thanks for letting us do this crazy stuff together. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't have shiny dinosaur grills without you. I forgot about that.
How you like me now?
Shiny.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you, Flavor Flav. Okay, so Tim missed a couple sessions.
My attempt at a Flavor Flav impression.
Fair enough. Switch to a paladin of Bry so you can have the weapon turns into just a giant clockwork something or other, and that becomes your weapon. In any case, I'm just going to grab a D3. Tim is exempt from the in-character reflection. Obviously, if you guys need a bit of a...
I may have missed a couple episodes. Apologize for that.
I forgive you. Boom! So first up will be the man with the golden grill, Grazik.
All I can say is Grazek's mouth now feels funny. And he's not sure how he feels about it. Of, hey, sweet, I got this new shiny weapon jammed inside my mouth. But you know what? We're rolling with it. That's okay.
I will say, of all the races to have worshipped a deity and be a paladin whose favored weapon is a bite, to have got a weapon that turns into the paladin's favored weapon, the lizard folk makes a little more, like, it's a little better than had it happened to, like, the human. Say, just suddenly, whoop, now I have funny teeth, but yeah, that's good enough. We can go easy, take your hero point. And next up is another D3. You gotta grab that D3, shaboom! And it'll be Delvin next, the man with the many prisoners, because our Wrath of the Righteous looks very different, because someone in the party's doing non-lethal damage. In any case, Jason, that in-character reflection, if you would, my friend.
Okay, we finally cleared the level and we're on our way out. We have much to discuss with the folks upstairs. We're bringing you an army. They're going to look funny, but hey, they're willing to help. Here are a couple of skulls from folks who were pretending to be paladins of Iomedae. So you might want to talk to their friends. Here's a crazy dwarf wizard guy who I have some major conflict in myself about how to deal with him. And, oh yeah, by the way, we captured a cleric of Baphomet, and she too might be someone you want to talk to / rip information from her brain magically.
Fair enough. Yeah, a lot of weird things are happening in our Wrath of the Righteous. The murder hobo vendetta, or not vendetta, narrative rather, I will say, looks a lot different when it doesn't happen. And take that hero point, and obviously,
well, don't get me wrong. We may murder hobo later, but we want to be able to murder hobo efficiently.
You would. That is a very Jason response to that. Fair enough. And I guess also, like, is it really murder hoboing when you kill the things that you're killing, you're sending them back home to the abyss? So it's not murder hoboing, it's murder housing. I get that's
really, it's the ideal scenario for a murder hobo because it's just a body vending machine where they can just keep coming back for more.
Just grind the experience. How many chickens to level 20? Anyway, Adam, take us home, my friend.
It was interesting. We finished the wonderful maze. Wonderful. In
take
all
that,
the
pop
quotation
can.
marks. And we definitely found out some not good information. But we also got some good information, even if I had to be berated to get it.
Sometimes you just gotta shout at the poor little tiny guy. And also, I guess if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube and you haven't seen all of our back episodes of the Wrath of the Righteous game, everybody's playing a custom race. We henceforth we will use Discord for audio because not everybody likes to use their webcam. Discord's audio sounds better, and you will always see me here in my webcam. And we've been down in Oracle for, I want to say, about 30 minutes in game time, though it might have been a few hours in playtime. So before we go on to the next part, Tim, if there's anything you would like to do in Neathholm, now would be a good time.
I don't even know what I can do and leave home. I don't know of anything I want to do with.
Hello?
Hi.
Did I speak?
I heard Neathholm a
You
little
were
bit.
super quiet.
Yeah. I heard a little bit. But if there's nothing
Sorry.
in any case, if there's nothing you want to do, we can move forward. Also, Nick, you are breathing into your mic real hard. Mic discipline is important, boys. If you're not speaking, do mute.
All right. Sorry about that.
Okay, so if there's nothing Tempe wants to do, we will immediately pick up from... We're technically on first map, but we don't need to see the map right now. The lair of the Mongrelman has been cleared. Scylla's body... Well, you don't know her name. Delvin might, actually, given Delvin's past with her. Unconscious and bound, and probably occasionally Kieran takes a sling and whoop in the side of the head to keep her from waking back up again. The route upward is not far from where you are now, and the floor is yours.
Didn't we get Scylla's orders?
Yes, you did. You have definitely seen them. I can reread them again.
No, I got him.
Okay, gotcha.
Bejeweled Book of Prayers devoted to Baphomet with one key.
Hold on.
Lockbox. Got that. OMG Longsword signing. Alright. So I guess... Does this tunnel lead anywhere?
Let me look at the first map to see what tunnel you're referring to, because I have the other one open right now. Images and maps, first map, bam. Which tunnel do you mean?
I believe he means the one to the east of the labyrinth.
Ah, yes, that one leads up.
Okay, so I guess we have to backtrack back to Neathholm to tell them that, hey, we did the thing that you wanted us to do.
Yep.
You guys also have a prisoner and 3 allies there.
Yeah. If he's
Guess we
still
will
alive.
have to go back there. Yeah, I'm sure they haven't eaten him just yet.
Okay.
Shall we head back?
Did we
Yeah.
remove the Gars?
No, they are still swimming around down there, and these dire rats are still nomming on Mongrelman.
I don't want to remember that.
Oh, well, my bad then.
Okay, then I would say it's time to go grab everyone else.
Let's go. Now, you do bring up an interesting point, though. How big were those Gar?
Pretty big for fish. You haven't really been down to take a look at it. Well, I guess Kieran has. The wonders of having a tiny flying thing in the squad. Let me bring them up real fast. A giant gar is... Oh, that's not a giant gar. Jesus, they're not huge. Back off, Tommy. They're medium.
So a people-sized fish.
Pretty much.
I'll leave it. I'll leave it alone. I am Grazak is looking at those fish with it's a tempting catch, but it's the trouble for right now.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're heading on back to Neathholm then.
Yep.
All right. So the journey takes. You guys basically know your way back, and you're not necessarily trying to be super quiet either. Given that all the mongrel men have been run off, you get put on the dock again, and the little crappy makeshift raft comes over and brings all of you. The rowers all give you weird-ish looks because you're still, here comes a giant dwarf hill giant thing, and we're putting it on a raft, and we're hoping the raft doesn't explode. But people get a little more hung up on the cultist of Baphomet that you're bringing with you. Good.
Oh, believe me, if they see, they will know she's not a guest of honor.
I have to imagine, given that poor old tad up Hosilla. So you guys make your way back up to the top of the pile to the chieftain's hall. The rest of the squad kind of reconvenes because it's a pretty big deal when random strange individuals from the surface show up and word spreads pretty quick in this little town. Horgus gets, as he's wont to do, all giant and bug-eyed when he sees a tied-up cultist with you guys, but has more or less learned that he needs to keep his mouth shut. Our Vashniel eventually gets the idea from, picking up bits and pieces of what people are saying, because obviously the man is still blind. Occasionally throws, contemptuous looks of disgust in the direction of the cultist, whereas Anivia is kind of half a step away from just drawing an arrow and shooting her dead. You guys approach the chief, and the chief has... Oh, yeah, I have to imagine we have crappy, rusty manacles that have been slapped on Milorn, keep his hands behind his back, and he's been led into the throne room as well. As more of the grossness comes out of this gigantic tumory mongrelman's face and area. So, what news do you bring? As he says this, he reaches behind and to the left of him. It's hard to say. When the hand goes behind him, it gets kind of nebulously lost behind his girth, and eventually out comes a considerably smaller than dire rat, but still a rat of unusual size on a stick, and he just kind of pulls it out. Coughs and a bit of gross phlegm. He basically is also a little bit of an owl, as Adam pointed out, and onto the ground. He looks at you expectantly, as do his assembled retainers.
We have done of you as asked, and we have killed your traitorous kin.
I can't. I need more water before I can make that gross water noise. Thank you. Thank you very much. He makes that noise. And who is this? A gross, can't quite extend all the way tumor arm points in the direction of the tied-up cultist.
Sorry, I look to the Delvin, then I look back at the cultist, and I just stare at Delvin a little bit, because giving him a look this is going to become a running theme. But I just kind of shrug. You should kind of making a gesture you should explain this one.
We caught this thing. It's a priest of, and I'll raise my hand up to show the foul brand. These people.
I see. And what do you intend to do with this thing? And he looks over in Milorn's direction. This thing here. Will you take them to the surface with you?
Yes. this one, and I boot the priestess, not terribly hard, but definitely uncomfortable. This one will be going up to the surface where she can be asked many questions by people who are not nearly as fond of her type as I am.
I see.
At mention of this, if anyone looks at me,
You
there's
implying that
definitely a very unsettling glint in my eye of happiness.
Okay. I hear you. Here's a d20. The chief seems to not notice. He's, as Delvin says this, I see, good, good. Give the cultist what she deserves. And out comes another, that rat of questionable size, lands bones and gristle on the floor. Won't you be glad when you never see Mongrelman again for the rest of Wrath of the Righteous? I won't. I will miss the chief.
Just half rat, half owl mongrelman.
Stronger than both.
Does he have any seconds?
Do you say that out loud?
Sure.
Well, if you would like to rest here, you are certainly welcome to do so. He claps his arm flaps together a couple times and it wiggles and it's gross and food is brought out. It's a little less extravagant because this one it's a little less prepared, more of just like a slightly bigger than snack, slightly smaller than meal, I suppose, is brought out for everyone. You are welcome to stay in Neathholm as long as you would like, Crusaders. Our forces continue to marshal. When they arrive, we will head for the surface.
How long do we expect? Because I don't know how to say this. But, if y'all just start rising up out of the ground, could cause. Even if we know you're coming.
That is a fair point, little one. How do you propose we proceed? He double fists a rat here and a rat here and jams them at 45-degree angles into his mouth. Har har, pulls them out.
Perhaps you can send one of your kin as a diplomat and have them meet with one of the invaders that dwell on the surface.
The chief nods, but he can't really nod because like his neck fat gets hung up. So basically it's just like a 5-degree tilt of the head before there's a sickly squishing noise. And kind of come from the chief as it's obviously really uncomfortable before he looks to his left, looks to his right, and lets out a long line. And out comes the mongrelman you all saved from the tower so long ago in real life, but only like a day-ish ago. In game, he comes a run and does a bow. You will travel with these individuals to Canabras. Inform what defenders out comes another grossness that may remain, that we will come to their aid in their time of need. Yes, chief. No, it's the lizard elf man thing.
Just as another safe warning, because it didn't look good when we left, in quotation marks, Canabras. Do you understand the concept of a drummer boy?
Do you mean... And he kind of like leans back dangerously in his throne. You can hear his throne like give way and creak dangerously as he tries to reach behind it before withdrawing from behind it what is basically a hollowed out bit of rock with what looks to be like rat skin over top of it. He hits it once, the skin is taut enough to make a drum-esque noise, but it mostly just sounds like bad. Boom. Drum. I do not understand what you mean.
Yeah, like that, but like some herald who leads the charge in battle and beats. Do you all have your own tune?
We do not.
I
Asking if he has some sort of like anthem or battle song.
So you don't have any scolds. Got it.
Shakes his head now.
Well, if they started playing a song when they started marching up, then we would know it was them and not the other them, the them we don't like. The good
That's
them.
fair. A logical conclusion.
Perhaps it would be more pragmatic just to set up a time. How many days will pass before they rise to the surface?
In like 5 days' time, come on walking.
This could work. It certainly will take a couple of days for the rest of the tribesmen to assemble.
Your friend will spend the time meeting with the surface dwellers and be able to inform you of the situation once you have arrived.
That would make sense. And I suppose Lan could always make his way back down should we need to delay or move faster. I agree. Will you be leaving now, or shall you stay and enjoy the hospitality of Neathholm? And his arms like spread out over the bits of kind of faded-ish luminescent fish, once again the bits of mushrooms and things of that nature.
Well, you do have a great town. We do have a city that kind of gone.
We do need to see what has happened at the surface.
Duty most certainly calls.
Or maybe it doesn't.
Only one way to find out, I suppose. He stands up and waddles over to each of you in turn to, like, depending on size, it appears as a handshake or like the offering of pinky, I guess, in Kieran's case. Just like a little thing for you to grab and whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you for your help. We, of course, will purchase anything that you may not wish to carry with you to the surface, and we will arrive in force in 5 days or when we hear from Lan. He waddles back to his chair, sits down, commences more eating.
Oh, Tim, I think
If
you
we
get 172.24 gold.
Thank you.
Good guy, Adam, doing all the quartermastering. What were you going to say, Jason?
I was going to say we might ask for the use of a couple of his subjects as porters so we can move everyone as quickly and easily as we can. You know, a stretcher for our wounded warrior with the bow. Same for Aravashniel. Someone to go ahead.
That the way is clear for us, that might not be necessary. We're, as you've demonstrated before, carrying a few people, and I certainly am.
Yeah. I guess I'm.
Not be a problem.
Delvin does make a
Yeah,
point
we're good.
because you guys had 3, now you have 6 in total. Aravashnial is certainly not in any case to carry anyone, and even if he was, he's not the strongest. Anivia can move, but she's slow. Horgus is Horgus, so he's not really much a help to anyone. Then you have 2 prisoners. Lan isn't the weakest thing you've ever seen, but like he doesn't necessarily compensate for it. Like someone will definitely have to carry the cultists.
We could always. No, that's a bad idea.
If we can.
Does Anivia want to stay?
She does not. You would look over and ask her, just, no, I need to get up and find my wife.
I don't think any of them are very keen on staying.
So in that case, if we can use a small group to help us get everyone out as quickly and easily as possible, that group can also come back to Neathholm and let them know, get a better idea of the situation up topside.
Stands to reason. Okay, sure. The chief looks around as you guys are talking about this. Very well. He claps his hands 1d4 times. I'm going to roll a 1. It's going to be bad. He claps his hands 3 times, and 3 more mongrelmen come up to stand next to Lan. You 3 will help the Crusaders. Watch the prisoners. Take care of... He waves in the direction of Aravashnial, who's kind of like looking just to the left of where the chief is speaking. Help our blind friend as you have been. Ensure that she with the broken leg is not left behind, and make Neathholm proud. All 3 of them, one with like kind of a bird's beak, kind of like a gross lobster-esque mouth jammed together in what can only be described as like some kind of Cthulhu monster. One who looks totally normal until you turn around, and like you could mistake this for like a really small human child, and then she turns around and there's like a Spinosaurus sail coming off her back. And then you turn around and she's just a normal person again. And then the third one is just a mess of what creatures have I not? The third one is like slumped forward, almost like ape-like, like is incapable of standing up straight and walks on very as big as its legs, arms. Its forehead slopes, and then like kind of the crown that like you would imagine on like a silverback gorilla that like up on the head terminates in almost a spike. They all nod, turn your direction. A couple of them run off actually, and then come back with a stretcher. Well, if there will be nothing else.
No, I just have a question for him.
Speak then, little one.
You see me like pull out a little book and I start flipping through it and I go, okay, can any of you all use glaives?
The mongrelmen kind of like look back and forth at each other, shake their head no. They're all carrying basically broken stalagmites that are functioning as clubs and like rocks to throw at people. One of them might have like a really crappy from a bajillion years ago when their ancestors rather lived on the surface dagger. I suppose I could. It's been a while since my fighting days.
Okay. Oh. That one, Delarin. Or Delvin. What am I saying? That one can have a master of glaive. How about a crossbow?
They all nod.
Okay, we have 1 crossbow.
Was it the one that belongs to Crazy Dwarf?
No,
Okay.
I don't know where all of his stuff.
I am quite sure that crossbow had to have come from Miloran, as I don't think anybody else. No, the tiefling did.
Tiefling.
Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about a short bow?
All of them nod.
Okay, so one gets a light crossbow, one gets a short bow. I'll hand the two that don't have glaives. One gets masterwork dagger, the other two get daggers. Then 3 of them can have masterwork chain shirts, and one gets a studded leather.
Okay. I am going to check Ballroman really quickly. We're building our first little army. Are you guys? So they see the armor, and it's real awkward for them as they try to like put it on. The chainmail is either just outright too big, or it's like they're not used to the weight of it on their shoulders, and so they slump forward. Or in the case of the ape-like one, like it's just like they cannot fit on their body because mechanically Mongrelmen are not proficient with any armor.
Okay.
They are proficient with the weapons because they're described as having them. Well, let me check their entry. Actually, on that note, the gear. What gear do you have? Literally just the club. So they have like rudimentary, simple weapon proficiency, and one of them can figure out how a bow works.
All right, we can still use the dagger.
Okay. They take the gear happily. They all nod and look in awe at some of the like much nicer gear than they are expected to have ever seen.
All right.
One of them has a hand that's basically just like not like a crab claw, but like I want to say like one of those grabby toy claws. Y'all know what I mean, where it's like the face of a dinosaur and you whoop and you can grab things with it. It's kind of like that, and it's kind of awkward how it can turn almost Rexasha-esque. Don't tell the paladins. In such a way that it can pull the trigger of the crossbow.
What's that about Rakshasas?
Nothing. You don't know what that is.
All right.
Got knowledge religion.
Yeah, fair.
Wait, do I have knowledge religion?
There is your travel gear. Don't lose it, please.
They nod in thanks.
We'd like that back.
They nod again.
All right.
Thank you, little one.
And I will take charge of Miloran at this time. Please take his shackles off.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
We have an understanding. I'll look at Miloran and say in Dwarven, isn't that right, brother?
He nods.
I'm sure.
As I quickly populate the next map with several more tokens than I thought we would need. Well, biome, lots of Mongrelmen. In any case, Miloran's shackles are grudgingly removed by the Mongrelmen that are following you. One of them happens to have the key to the shackles. And will there be anything else, guys?
It's asking if Tempe uses a shield.
Tempe does not use a shield.
Can. Tempe.
Can she? I guess she could take a shield.
I'm not sure if oracles are. I assume they're proficient.
Actually, you're right. Let me check.
Like I was talking to you earlier, I've never actually like played or been in a party really with an oracle, so I'm not totally sure.
I think they have the same weapon
Proficient with all simple
proficiencies
weapons,
as
light
the,
armor, medium armor, and shields.
Nice. Okay, fair enough. There you go.
Yay!
Here, you can have this +1 light wooden shield.
Nice.
Okay. Thank you very much, young Sonny.
pretty sure you're younger than I am.
Yes, but you look like a kid and I look like an old lady.
You're not wrong. Alright, so I'm removing that from the gear list.
Yeah.
And
if we want to be totally accurate, one of you just looks like a fairy, and the other one looks like a
Raisin.
lizard lightning fairy.
Soul laughs, and everyone kind of like chuckles in response to it as the
What kind of
fat
shield was
wolf-
that again?
+1 light wooden shield.
Light wooden shield. Okay.
So +3 to your AC, I believe.
And it doesn't conduct electricity.
Super relevant for Tempe.
and the other thing is, Grazek, do you want a ring of climbing?
A ring of climbing. Sounds useful.
Let me break that out real quick.
Technically, I already can climb, but
It gives you a
something that makes
+5
me
confidence
better at
bonus.
climbing.
So then you would have a +13 on climb checks before any ranks, both from a ring and from a racial bonus.
Yeah. I am basically Peter Parker.
More or less, yeah.
Or we're 8 foot tall, 300 pounds, and covered in scales and spines.
Yeah, exactly.
Spider gecko.
Spider.
Like a spider crocodile for me.
Yeah.
Alright. So I guess now we get to go to Hell on Earth.
I'm sure that would be the
making
abyss.
our way up. Grazak would probably like to talk with Araveshnil because wanted to learn a lot about the mongrel men and ask him how his experience was with them.
Okay, so then I'm making this formation somewhere you guys can't see, not to hide it from you, but just to like set it for myself. The mongrel men land in his 3, for lack of a better term, subordinates take a middling position. The cultist is on one stretcher. Arvashnial he refuses the other and follows along behind. Oh, let's see here. Anivia is a strong personality, but she's not stupid, and she knows she'll slow the party down. So she doesn't lay down on the stretcher so much as she just kind of like sits on it. Horgus tries to stay as close to... Who do we like the most? Kind of none of you. Horgus just kind of walks nebulously as close to as many people that he doesn't think will kill them as possible. Milorn is glued to Delvin. Tempe is probably somewhere nebulously in the middle, and Kieran can easily flip between. So, yeah, as you guys are making your way up, you certainly could go slide over to Arvashnial.
Do they have any land transport?
Like carts, wagons, things like that.
Yeah.
Basically what you have here with the stretchers that they've pulled out. They have boats, but I guess I shouldn't say boats, excuse me. They have rafts.
Okay.
Anyway, Grazik wanted to...
On the first map?
Not for much longer. Then the map is sort of arbitrary. In any case, what did you want to ask Arvashnial, Grazik?
Well, Grazak would like hang behind the group and walk with them and be like, "So, elf, what did you learn from these children of the First Crusade? I trust you had a very visit."
I did. The creatures are kind. They understand my condition. They have... Though I wish I could have stayed longer and learned more about their culture, I've...
To wince at when he calls them creatures. Like, I visibly make a little, snarl at that.
Alright. Fortunately, Arvashnial is blind, so he's incapable
He'll
of
hear
seeing... Oh, fair. Okay, sure. Forgive me. We are all creatures. They are creatures. You are a creature. Elves are creatures. You understand. I mean no offense. It's a wonder that they truly do exist, and should my associates on the surface survive, we will have much to discuss. Perhaps, if this ever blows over, we can send teams down here, explore, catalog, perhaps even bring them up to the surface. I understand why the children of the First Crusade needed to flee. I think we're past that now, though.
After the what they have endured, it seems like it would only be right that they would have the chance to urge and become a part of the greater world above. That is something that they would want to do.
I agree. The Crusade takes, and he misses the mark pretty wide as he waves his hand in the direction of where you probably can hear Delvin walking. I have to imagine big man's not quiet when his boot hits the ground. We take all shapes and sizes. There's no reason we can't take these poor souls. Maybe Soul will scare some of the cultists away with his habits, shall we say. In any case, the journey all told, since you guys are moving, you're still moving at Aravashniel's pace as Aravashniel refuses to not carry himself. So it takes probably about an hour. But you guys do make your way inexorably up and up and up and up to reach, I don't want to call it a familiar sight, as that would be, entirely inaccurate. As you guys emerge,
What should be a familiar sight.
instead is a ruin. The entire...
Duh.
Yeah. The city has not necessarily been leveled, but it has been destroyed. The passageway you guys were taking leads up into an old sewer system, and then that in turn leads up into basically the middle of the street. You guys can look around and see a lot of major important religious buildings or important military structures have all been destroyed. Fortunately, it, at least for now, appears that the demons that attacked have moved on. Basically, you're just you are greeted to occasionally the sounds of breaking glass, people crying out. You look up and the sky is tinged with all of the smoke that is rising. Nevertheless, you can see as the sun, and probably there's a little bit of put hands over eyes and blink as you have been underground for a few days. Vultures circling overhead. As this happens,
Gotta love the smell of napalm in the morning.
indeed.
There are a lot of corpses laying about.
Yeah. Mostly non-combatants. Every fourth or fifth is some crusader dressed in now rent armor, and maybe every 10th is what appears to be the broken remains of a tiefling or a demonic or fiendish animal that has made its way in here.
We aren't anywhere near where the first are we? Where the Baelor first slew Terendelev?
Not really. You could get there if you wanted to, but the cathedral doesn't look good. It's a pretty prominent piece on the skyline. It was there when the ground was rent.
It was there, but not anymore.
It's you can see bits of broken tower where once a cathedral stood.
that does not sit well with me. Because if I'm remembering right, that cathedral is where get into study, correct?
Yes, Tarendalev had basically like an eyrie in the top. I don't necessarily want to call it like a hoard, though she technically would have one. It doesn't feel quite right for an LG Silver Dragon, right? So it's just kind of like a place to park and rest without appearing as a humanoid and keep her hoard basically just was books and knowledge.
Well, is there anyone who looks like they're in charge to any extent?
No. Technically, I suppose you guys.
Great.
I guess wait for the next scream and walk towards it.
Okay. As this is going on, as you guys take it all in for kind of like the first time since you've had the pleasure of meeting them, Anivia, Aravashniel, and Horgus, all three are for once quiet. Especially Horgus, still just kind of grumbling to himself about how like his feet hurt and he's wearing out his favorite boots, which obviously are made to look good, but they are not, to coin a phrase, made for walking. After a couple of seconds pass, and the mongrel men also take it in as well. They've only ever heard rumors of this world, which does exist. After a couple seconds of that, it's all three of the people you started this thing off with kind of like start to speak at once. Horgus, of course, being the loudest, just, all right, before we do anything else, I need y'all to take me home. He looks around. I'm not ready for this kind of mess here. I'm not like y'all. I'm not like the casted wizards and your good neighbors. As he kind of like drifts over Delvin for a second and stutters a couple times before he remembers his manners that he has been beaten into his head over the course of Wrath of the Righteous.
Exactly.
We haven't laid a finger to him as far as I can remember.
Mental fingers are the worst fingers. Friend, I will fight you. Basically. I understand you are not made for this, Horgus. Perhaps stay with the children of the First Crusade. Friends, I ask that you escort me to Blackwing, the library here in the city. I must know if my friends are still in one piece, and if they are, I imagine they will have held up there. It is of the utmost importance. I am taken there immediately. And if we were to go east, my wife and I had a small house there. If we could go there, Anivia chimes up, hopefully Irabeth made it back there. To be honest, I just want to know if my house is still standing.
Let me guess, Horgus, you're to the west. Let me guess, Aravashniel, you're to the north. She wants to go east.
They all kind of like look in each other's directions and just they nod and they all just kind of turn your direction. As this is going on, Milorn's pretty wide-eyed as well. It's obvious he hasn't seen the surface in a really long time. It's kind of shock, kind of surprise, kind of awe, I guess.
Because I really don't care about being considered the crass. Doesn't really care about your feelings. You want to go home to see if your warrior princess wife is sitting at home waiting for you. You want to go to a library to go see if your magic buddies did their job in protecting our knowledge of how to kill the demons. And you just want to go home to make sure your money wasn't stolen. Is that a fair assessment?
They all get a little offended as you say this. Warrior princess. Irabeth is a member of the Eagle's Watch, Kieran.
So why would she
And it's
get
very
home?
likely that she is not home waiting for you, but out trying to fight with the other crusaders.
Or maybe she left a note, or She pulls out a holy symbol of Iomedae that's tucked under her armor and begins like nervously playing with it. I just need to know she's okay, and I don't know where else to look.
Oh, by all means, that's what I was trying to get at. We need to figure out where the defense is being set up and go there. Because your library friends should have delegation there. You have said it yourself, are not a fighter, Horgus. So we just leaving you at your home, if there are demons still running about, how are you going to protect anything? And your wife better be at that tent leading this thing if she's that high-ranking member in the Knights. So why don't we go find that, and we'll get all 3 of your things done, but you all know that we're actually working on getting all 3 of your things done. Because I'm all for helping you all, but I'm not going to lead you to a cesspool of water. I'm going to lead you to a good pool to drink from.
Okay, that sounds like that
Makes
is on the end
sense.
of a...
Razak actually understands that metaphor.
Sounds like a
It
social
was a
check to me.
good metaphor.
Diplomacy or intimidate. It was worded nicely enough that it could be a strong diplomacy check or a weak intimidate check
And I
from
will-
Kieran.
And while he's doing that, I will talk to. I keep wanting to say Melkor, but
Close.
uh,
Milorn.
Malorn. I'll bend down to a knee so I can talk to him better. And it's kind of like, brother, look at what's happened here.
He sees it, looks at you.
You can help these people. Stay with us. If you must stand trial for what you have done. But you can help.
Okay, sounds like I need a diplomacy check from you as well.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't say that. I was just hoping that it would be such a marvelous and wonderful thing that he would immediately see that it's good.
I will say that Kieran has a number I won't say bonus on his roll because that was a very impassioned speech.
Here goes numbers. Nobody has an enhanced diplomacy to slap me on the back with?
Guidance real fast.
Yeah, I'll enhance diplomacy on you. I think you're okay. I think you're okay.
Okay.
I think you're okay.
Yeah.
So Delvin doesn't have to worry about his diplomacy check. Everyone's just going to fall in line at this point. The mongrel men are wholly impressed as they see just this little, like, size of a house cat thing flitting around saying this Horgus is just, well, my guys just doing my man, they wouldn't let my man fall. I'm sure fine. Y'all haven't got me killed so far. He rubs the dark mantle scars from where something latched onto his face area and tried to eat him alive. Oh, I suppose you're probably right. And it stands to reason my associates would gather in one place. Hopefully, the knowledge from Blackwing has been taken with them. If not, I'm sure I can convince what remains with us to stay with us as we go back. And Evia just... you're right. Eurybeth wouldn't be home right now. Eurybeth would be, if she's still here, she would be trying to figure it out. You're right, Kieran. And Milorn just... Delvin, may I have my crossbow back, please?
Ow.
I said I would. I gave him his bow back.
Don't know.
Okay. Does that also mean Milorn gets the rest of his gear back? Because we have reached the surface.
Yes,
Looking for the
I
most
hand
vivid thing.
everything over until the spell book. And whenever I put the spell book forward for him, is I need to know. Are you going to stay to help? Or are you going to leave?
I'll do what I can. I think it's Kieran, but I forget someone is wearing his cloak of resistance. And whichever that happens to be, he looks in their
Yeah,
direction.
that would be me, I think,
Ah,
actually.
oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Looks in the direction of the cloak.
I thought I had.
I think it was given to me, because I had the lowest.
Was you.
I thought
Yeah.
I had a 0 will save, and that gave it to me.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
And you also got pinned to the wall like a butter.
Yeah,
So-
that was a thing.
Ugh, rough. That encounter was mean. Well, in that case, Miloran just continues looking at Kieran.
But it's so nice.
I was promised my gear back.
Yeah, well, you're not getting it all back. But here you go.
Okay, so does that mean he does not get his cloak of resistance back?
No, I give it back.
Okay.
I just don't have his crossbow anymore.
Somewhere exists the crossbow in the party loot, I am sure. Because that tiefling you guys fought had one. Okay, so
Yeah.
he...
So I guess we get all of.
Yeah.
I guess we'll tell him what he gets back. He gets back his spell book. They didn't have a spell component pouch, I don't think.
He didn't. Hang on. I got his gear right here. He had drank all of his potions, I'm pretty sure. There might be there's a couple of scrolls floating around, but nebulous. He had a dagger, a light crossbow, a cloak of resistance, and a spell book is what he's hung up on.
Yeah.
Particularly that dagger, as you guys would have figured out by now that is his arcane bonded item.
Tried to stab me with it.
Here, have a random regular dagger.
I mean, there's no difference on, he didn't have a masterwork dagger, I don't think, did he?
Yeah, so here, have a regular dagger.
He takes it.
You can bond with.
Hey there, have you heard about my new best friend? It's my dagger. Okay.
Now I have to drop my saves.
Well, in that case, the world is kind of the party's oyster right now. You guys emerge. Let's take a look here. Where do you guys emerge? Just kind of in the middle of the city, I believe. As far as resistance goes, if it's anywhere, you're not sure where it is. At least not without throwing some checks around for a logical, this could be a place where it is kind of thing.
Here,
Well,
I'll do you one better.
one thing I would ask is if Kieran thinks it's a good idea to pop up, do a quick recon flight.
Is an excellent suggestion, actually.
Okay. So Kieran is small enough that there are a lot of things in the air right now that would consider Kieran a meal.
Ooh,
Flying seems like less of a good idea.
I think it would be a little more of fly from rooftop to rooftop and hide and try to get the lay of the land that way instead of just up into the air.
well,
It's the tallest
Sure.
building that's around.
I guess we just start searching the city, look for anything interesting, along with any places where people might be stored, and then if we can happen to find somebody, we can speak to them. Or if we come across a particularly lootable building,
Okay.
Sounds fair.
Seems good to me.
and another idea real quick.
We find those tactical ink
if worse comes to worse, head directly away from where the ward stone was. So away from the world wound. So, take a bearing to where the ward stone was, turn 180 and start that way, because that's the direction they are most likely to have gone.
Okay, sure. Seems logical. You guys would also know that, like, you can look around and see, like, where the wardstone was. There is nothing protecting Canobras from the spread of the world wound, and you guys are now officially, like, the world wound has claimed this part of Galarian. It's unsettling. It doesn't necessarily, like, there's no overt, like, you feel it, like, well, I'm in the world wound, but the ground has taken a slightly darker reddish tinge. The sky looks a little... Maybe it's the smoke, maybe it's the fires that are still burning, but maybe it's just the way the sun looks a little too orange today. It's hard to say. Moving away from where the wardstone sat is not the worst idea. Okay, sure. So we will run... Which shall we do? There are several things that can happen as you are trying to find folk. So it was Jason. Or no, it was Tim's idea to wander. If Tim could throw a D4 at the board for me.
D4?
If you would.
Right.
Wander to streams is always an option.
Indeed.
Also, I've got my air barrier up right now. 1.
Okay, so as you guys go looking around, you come upon, and this encounter will be theater of the mind, and anything that happens like in Canobras of the mind. You guys come upon the ruined, it's kind of like laying on the ground. Well, actually no, you turn the corner and the sign which hung ye old taverny style right swinging in the wind is hanging on one side, and then you turn the corner and kind of just like the sound of wood hitting cobblestone is just bang on the ground. From inside the shop, you can hear the sounds of fabric tearing, the sounds of, it almost sounds like a rat chittering. It's definitely not trying to be quiet, whatever it is.
My fine linen.
Okay, I'll bite and go check it out.
Okay.
I'm paying. I am 100% paying for my.
Duly noted. Okay. So does Tempe try to conceal herself at all?
No.
Okay. Where is my perception? It is. This without being at the top. That's the only thing. That's one of the things definitely I like the most about the playtest. It's just right there. Right in the beginning. Okay, so Kieran is able to very easily find things to duck around behind and like disappears from sight, basically. Tempe moves in the direction of the store, and inside it's kind of odd for this shop to have existed in Canobras, given that this is basically just a town on the edge of the world fighting abyssal hordes for ever and ever and ever. Nevertheless, inside the shop are several mannequins wearing like fine tailored linens, not unlike what you would see on like a posh nobleman somewhere far from here, where it's much safer. Inside the shop, there is probably about the size of Grazik, maybe a little shorter. I don't have a token for him, but I will go look at his art so I can give you a better description than just, it's a bad thing, run from it. The creature looks not unlike a humanoid rat standing... lost my page. basically just like tearing into the cloth, tearing it apart, sometimes biting it, almost like chewing and eating it. It's, if you didn't know where you were, you might confuse it for like a were-rat.
Okay, so a big humanoid rat thing. Gotcha.
Mm. It's not a big jump for you guys to assume it's some kind of demon.
But there's just the one that we can see?
Yeah. And as loud as this one is being, if there was a second one, yeah, imagine
We
you'd hear
would
it.
hear if there were more.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is, did you say this was the bar? Or this was near the bar?
It's, I said
Or this
ye
is
old
the-
tavern, as in like there was that kind of style sign hanging out front.
This
It's
is a
As in
shop.
what? Oh, this is a clothes shop.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I will walk away, as I can't imagine anything in a clothes shop being particularly useful to me.
okay. And Kieran,
Is there anybody else in this place?
with a perception check, is there anybody else?
Sure. Just a sec.
It stands to reason there could be. There are several like doors to the back that remain closed, several pretty sizable wardrobes that are still shut. I see a check from Grazik.
+4.
Okay.
So 16.
On a perception check. It's, if there's anybody in here, they're hiding. And the way this thing, and now that I have a picture of it up, I can describe it a little better. It has a lot of like rat-like features on its face, mostly like teeth, but it also has demonic horns and a Quasimodo-esque hump coming out of its back as it continues just like chittering and tearing apart. Basically,
Are
the
there-
whole shop.
Are there any doors with like scratches on them?
No. The doors are fine. They will not be for much longer. You guys can tell that. Well, actually, let me get a knowledge religion check from anybody who might have it.
Knowledge what?
Religion.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's weird that we don't see that come from the pally. Okay, so with a 19, Tempe is able to identify pretty clearly that this demon is known as an Abracandilu. They are more commonly known as wrecker demons. They delight in destroying beautiful things, and that's probably why it's come here. They're formed from the souls of mortals who vandalize art and life, and then they're horrible, and then they come back. They...
Desna.
Hmm?
The anti-Desna.
Yeah, pretty much. Oftentimes in demonic wars, they are used as ground troops because they're really good grunts and they don't need weapons or armor. They just they can tear through people's armor with their, and you can see it has like a thumb where a thumb should be and then a thumb coming out the other direction as well. This thing is just a giant wrecking ball of claws and teeth. And they hate beautiful things and destroy them. So left unattended, this true outsider that doesn't need to rest will tear this shop apart. And if there's anybody in here, though it's hard to say if there is, sooner or later they're going to be found out.
I will get behind Zach. Do my thing.
Okay. This will start initiative if it doesn't take him out. An 18 certainly hits his flat-footed for that much damage. So basically what goes down is there's a from the sling and a little pebble wings this dude in the back of the hump because you can't really hit the head as he turns. It's basically just woo over the top and you smack into it and it turns in your direction. Where's Delvin right now?
I was back up the street a little bit. They were doing their sneaky bit, and I don't sneaky.
I wasn't being sneaky.
Okay, so it sounds like if Delvin is there, the NPCs will hang with Delvin, and fortunately, we're not running an experience, or poor Jason would miss out. If I could grab initiative from the 3 players who will fight this thing, that would be sweet.
Sure,
You're
we're gonna
going
call it
last, don't roll.
Negative 100.
Roger. First up is, I'm sure my initiative is bad. Yeah, okay, so I can't lose to Tempe. Tempe will always lose, but I didn't do good. Kieran is up first. This thing is still in the process of turning around, and there's like a bit of like a yellow silk dress that it rips apart. That hits.
Apparently, damage roll first.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do damage before you know you hit. You gotta live on the edge. Okay. So the stealth check, I'll make the perception check in just a second. Is that with a minus 20 on it?
No.
Okay, so then that's a 7 and my perception check. So you definitely know this is you. 16 hits for 14 more damage. I've taken that much damage. Is that your whole turn?
Yep.
All right, let me grab my hit points really quickly. Oh my. Okay, fair enough. So this thing's not looking good. There's a whap on its hump, and then it turns around and Kieran gets it in the eye. Is this all still non-lethal damage? It probably always will be, huh?
What?
Your damage is still non-lethal?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, Grazik, you're on.
I guess I am.
You can't. There's too much. There's too much stuff on the ground for you to charge because it's all difficult terrain from the wreckage. But you could definitely move and attack him from where you're standing now.
So I can't necessarily make a full round attack then.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine. I'll just go up and my hammer. I'm gonna go up and try and bludgeon him over the head with it.
Okay. Understood.
Ah, man, that rolled a 22, but it didn't land in the area for.
Feels bad, man. So as you go up and you raise your hammer to swing down, you feel your. I assume Grazik still has the weapon you guys found.
Yeah, I do.
You feel a strange tingling sensation, that kind of like the first time you had sugar, or the first time you had a Mountain Dew in your entire life in your teeth, as that's the flavor of this campaign now, I suppose. Nevertheless, hammer time.
I will worry about the tingling in my mouth after I bash this thing's brains in.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Here we go. We'll go through.
It did not. If you want to just grab the d20 and the the hotbar and roll it and add your mods, that works too.
No, that's what I thought I was doing.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay. Yeah.
So many good rolls for nothing.
Set up. In the area where you're supposed to roll it, but it's not.
Weird. What's your mod?
Plus 7.
Okay, you definitely hit. D10 plus.
It's a D10 plus 8.
Plus 8, got it. So 12 points of bludgeoning damage as you run up and swing the hammer down. Do you want me to put the hammer down? And then so you do. Equals that.
Put the hammer down.
And we'll say this turn, Delvin makes it to just behind the shop. The Abracandilu snarls in your direction. He takes a full round action for you and the retinue to move up there.
Yep.
I'm not that
rolls.
I'm smart enough. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, so this thing comes shuffling forward in Grazik's direction. It sees the shiny, the Lucerne hammer isn't necessarily pretty.
Nah, the Lucerne hammer is just a big wooden club with a big rough iron head attached to it.
Ah, yes, fair enough. Okay, that makes sense. So in that case, this thing is just going to 5-foot step, and we're going to do some full attacking going at the Grazik. This thing's rat teeth lean forward as if to bite a sizable chunk out of you for a 10 to hit, which is not the best.
Is it all difficult terrain?
Then he can't 5-foot step, huh? Okay, fair enough. In that case, I provoke. Thank you, Adam. You are correct.
I was just like, if we're getting free information, I'm definitely writing this down.
No, that's not bad. There's a fine line between metagaming and between what am I trying to say? A fine line between metagaming and using game mechanics. In any case, I guess if Nick is still having problems, I will roll for the attack of opportunity. There's not a +7. What do you add on your attack
Would it
roll?
be an attack of opportunity for me?
Yes, he cannot take a 5-foot step. He is manually moving 5 feet through your threat range. So as he approaches you, you get to attack. You've rolled a 4. What's your mod?
That's a 7.
Oh, nice. Fair enough. So an 11 does miss, and then a 10 misses you, and then it passes to Tempe.
And he looks pretty hurt.
Yeah, he's not doing the best.
Okay. Then I'm not going to waste too much on him. I'll just go up to him and hit him with a sword cane and maybe do a couple points.
Sounds good to me. A 21 definitely hits. For
4 points of damage.
the weapon bounces off him.
Oh, it literally doesn't feel like it does any damage?
Yeah, you go to... I guess it doesn't bounce, because a sword cane, IIRC, is a piercing weapon. I forget.
That's true.
So you
It's
lean
a
into...
piercing.
So it doesn't bounce. Yeah, it would bounce. It would totally bounce. You stab into the hump and whoop, and it goes off to the side, and it just kind of snarls.
Would deflect.
Good to know.
Steam and FDR.
As that happens, the tingling intensifies, and now at bottom of the initiative, Delvin makes his way over. And back to Kieran we go.
Is there something to break line of sight with?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Especially for a tiny creature.
We'll break line of sight. And then boop boop. And a boop.
Okay.
And again, it rolls damage.
Duly noted. 26 definitely is more than enough to hit. Flavor that knockout.
He finally turns around, and as he's getting ready to lay into Grazik again, I send a stone right up underneath his armpit and hit him in a soft spot.
And down he goes, kind of just it hits him. Bits of half abyssal, half rat chittering. There's maybe not words so much as a syllable here and there as down it goes. Initiative is off. The demon is knocked out.
I go collect my stones and be like, if there's anyone here, you can come out now. The scary thing is taken care of.
Okay. So out from one of the wardrobes comes a... Let me get to where they are. Where are the people? Because there's definitely people in here. A pair of humans. They're both kind of... how to say? They're not necessarily small, but they are not fighters. They lack any kind of musculature at all. Tall and lanky. The woman leaning into the man's chest. The man has one arm around the woman and one hand on... I won't say the wrong end of the short sword, but he obviously isn't holding it as if he has intent to use. More so, he has just picked up a thing and is holding it in by the hilt out at an awkward angle. They look around and thank you so much, Nira. Go get what food we have. We should have left when we had the chance. Okay, I understand. And she, they very reluctantly let go of each other as she makes for, a back room.
Do you fine folks know where everybody has gone?
I'm afraid I must ask you to roll percentage dice.
A percentage die? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll just do D10. So the first one will be the 10. So 90% something.
Okay.
92.
92. A 92, a 92, a 92. Oh, I lied. It was supposed to be a D20. I assumed it would be a D100. I'll just throw a D20 down real quick. And it's that. Okay. I have no idea. I'm sorry. My wife and I, we've been hiding since the attack. I've seen a lot of people who came into our shop walking with the demons there. It seems to be that some of them worship Baphomet, some of them surrounded by flies, some of them, what was the name?
Okay, that's fine, laddie, then. Go ahead and stay with us. You'll see that we are already protecting several people who aren't fighters.
He nods. What? Discari, that was the name, yes. I thought I knew them. I suppose not. If I had to guess, I would assume that these cultists have been in the city for a while now. Nira comes out carrying basically just like a backpack with bread in it. She just kind of starts sobbing as the pair of them both make their way out to the menagerie that has been assembled.
Okay.
Is there anything?
Given that the situation up here is in a very bad state, my intent to keep the cultist alive has just dwindled to 0.
Okay.
I think she's a liability. If there was some sort of organized resistance that we could get her to, that'd be one thing, but this is looking, who knows how far we're going to have to march to get to
Well,
safety.
I mean, we haven't gone very far just yet. And we've only spoken to one group who were not smart enough to leave soon, to leave quickly.
Yeah.
Both of you have very good points. On the one hand, you haven't seen much. On the other hand, should cultists appear and find her and heal her, problems compound themselves. Adam was trying to say something, I believe, when we were still in the shop.
Is there anything in the shop that is legible?
Mostly just really nice clothing. As the husband and wife see you looking around the store, it's I suppose we should thank them, Nira. I don't have much. Not anymore. I suppose I could offer all of you. I think I have something for you. Looking at Tempe's direction, and I suppose I could, with time, we could tailor something to fit the tale. As for you,
I'm good.
We sometimes have requests for people to receive outfits for their cats. You're about that size. I imagine I could whip something up, and he kind of like takes in Delvin for the first time, looks up at Delvin.
It's really the time to be worrying about this sort of thing.
I would say if there's something we can use as blankets for warmth this far north. Otherwise, I don't know necessarily what else would do us good.
When he says clothes for cats, you'll see my chest just kind of bulge out, and I have to unbutton my shirt as my cat just flops onto the ground. Really? You just had to come out right now? All right, fine.
And the man produces a very fine as if to appear, how do we do this? Kind of like a Halloween costume, I suppose, to make your cat familiar appear like an angel. Something to like cover up its neck, and then here's its face and these little tiny wings. Not big enough to impede it, but they're definitely there. It's objectively the most adorable thing you've seen in Canabras since you have returned. As far as Delvin, Delvin brings up that point, and the man just, well, yes, that makes sense. And he begins pulling out bolts and bolts and bolts of like fine silk that have yet to be savaged by the demons. He produces quite a bit of probably the nicest blankets you've ever had in your whole life. Mechanically speaking, if you were to sell them later, you'd probably net 100 gold each.
Well,
But you'll also stay warm.
and that's the more important thing at the moment.
Indeed.
But before you start actually making things, which I am all about, why don't we try and just take what we can fit inside of our chest and our, did we say we could call you Pack Mule? Or is that something that I've just been doing in my head?
You've been doing it in your head, but loud enough that, well, you also know I don't necessarily mind, because it's just life.
It fits. Shoe fits, you might as well wear it.
Considering that I've put straps on my backpack so you can just ride along. Same with Timpy. You know,
And thus is the glory of the nesting dolls of righteousness.
Yeah.
But we should probably take what we can and see what we
Yeah.
actually need made before you start making things.
Yeah.
Because while you've never made anything, I can tell by what you have made that you have skills, boy.
Aye.
So with a little tutelage, you can probably make something more circumstance appropriate.
I'm not sure what you mean. I'm just a tailor.
Yeah, I look around. I'm sorry, I can't go to war in a ball gown.
So what would you have us make then?
Padded shirts, sew the leather for armor, make scabbards, blankets and backpacks.
I believe what she's saying is if you have the skill to make something this precise, those skills can always be used, even if for something not as beautiful.
He nods thoughtfully. I suppose you're right.
We don't necessarily need you to plant a victory garden. We need you to go work in the steel mill.
Indeed. I suppose Canabras will need all the help that it can get. Well, Nira, what do you say? She still looks terrified out of her mind, like sweeping the shop up as if to like put some sense of normalcy back into her life when obviously like it is to no avail. He moves over to her, grasps the broom firmly in one hand to stop her. Nira. They look at each other for a couple seconds. Words are exchanged through the glances as old couples sometimes do, and they turn your direction. And so be it. If you can take us somewhere where we can set up shop and be safe from all of this, we'll help you. My name is Belphis. I'm sorry, I did not introduce myself. He bows. Welcome to Fine Fittings. Or whatever you want to call it now. In any case, shall we depart?
If you have any of your current stuff you would like to try and salvage, I would not advise against doing that.
I think that's what they've been doing, is grabbing up all the materials, right?
Yeah.
Right, but finished product, because there's no sense in leaving it here because that's not planning for the future.
Yeah. Just have them grab whatever they can carry, and
Whatever they would like to eventually sell
Yeah.
when life turns.
And I'm willing to carry what I can.
Yeah, that backpack can hold quite a bit of clothing. They ceremonially fold everything up. They have betwixt them, they have like I said, a backpack which is carrying food, and then like a bigger, more like luggage style thing, I suppose, where they can jam some clothing in. They basically are able to get their hands on everything that remains that isn't torn to shreds, and they make their way out into the streets for the first time. They really take in Canabras's destruction. Their building sits about, I'll say like 20 feet from another one of those rents in the earth, not unlike what happened to you guys, except this one didn't close. They've both sad and sobbing. They both fall in line in the menagerie, which now has increased to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15-man squad making its way through Canabras.
Jeez.
So before we move on, it was brought up that our cultist friend is kind of a liability. Does Delvin want to do something? Do you guys want to hold on to her for longer?
My vote is we leave them alive for a little longer, because until we get a better idea of what's going on in town, we haven't been out that long.
Yeah, and if Kieran would be kind enough to whap her upside the head every so often to make sure she stays
Down.
down before she becomes dead.
Makes sense. Yeah, the Mogrelmen also, like, as they're carrying this treasure that she's on, occasionally one of those stalagmite clubs just get over top of her head when she stirs a little too much. Okay, and we continue to set out into Canabras. So if I could get... let's get one from, let's say, Nick this time. If Nick could give me a D4.
Okay. It'll work this time.
Nice. We're taking them in order. Okay.
And I will have my familiar help run scout.
Okay.
Because it's not all that big and it's faster than most.
Yeah, Compsognathus are not slow. I think they have a move speed of like 50 or 60. If I remember
40.
right. 40.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
fair enough.
No, they're as fast as I am.
When did you get
Yeah.
the familiar? I didn't know you had a familiar.
He probably got it at level.
Yeah, at 3rd level.
This is the first time in a while I've had a Kensei in my party that wasn't also a blade-bound magus who could actually take a familiar. Fair enough. Okay. So as you guys go running out in front, you turn the corner into a small plaza that's been built in like a residential district. Just kind of like a simple fountain where all of the surrounding houses can like go out into and take water. In the center of that fountain stands a resplendent, or at least it once was, now it's broken and sad, one of her wings on the ground, her, like, the holy light, which had been portrayed in, like, a mural behind it, broken, a shrine to Sarenrae, has been completely ruined by the destruction. You probably hear it before you see it. A weeping human woman kneels in front of the statue, crying out to Sarenrae as 3, by their size, they're probably human. It's hard to say because the knights are in their full plate, so you don't necessarily see anything that like you can clearly identify a race by. Have surrounded her. You guys come in from like the side, so you can see where they're like by their stance, and one of them has the visor of their helm up, so you can see actually like a full human face. Their armor, which in the case of one of them is decorated with the holy symbol of Iomedae, which doesn't necessarily say paladin so much as like that's what the gear here has, is sooty and gross, and the one whose helmet is up, eyes burn with a feverish light. One of the knights, the one you take to be the leader, removes her helm, and her like blonde hair falls down over the plate mail, and she turns in the direction of the kneeling woman, sobbing, draws her long sword. And I know I say mic discipline is important, but if you want to interrupt me at any point at something like this, do so.
What are you two doing?
Yeah, what is going on?
Okay. So they hear you, and
I'm gonna walk up to him with my cane and everything. Just what?
okay. So they turn to you, and the human woman, she, well, you, looking down at you, you've heard the legends. If we sheathe our blades in the body of a virgin, it will transform temporarily the sword into a demon-slaying weapon. We regret what must be done, but
Oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life,
What
dearie.
what legend is this? Grazek is very confused.
it's an old tale out here. It's legends of a crusader who made the ultimate sacrifice, killing his new bride, and was able to slay a horde of demons over it.
A sword alone won't stop a demon. You also have to be able to wield it. Are you even strong enough?
The knight picks up her long
Are
sword
you
and
talking
like,
about this sword? I show her like the gold tooth and I pull it out and likely manifests as a golden sword. And I just like, what? You mean this sword?
so there's a pregnant pause. As at first it's like, what is that? Like it's like you're literally pulling teeth.
Just like
Good.
lifting my tooth and pulling it out.
I'm not afraid of dentists. You don't know me. Grabs like one of your cane. Well, you don't. Yeah, you do. All your teeth are pointy. One of the bigger pointy ones. Oh, and then out comes this resplendent weapon, and everyone gets real quiet for a second. In that second, the kneeling woman starts to back off because everyone's looking at you. She gets up and takes off as quietly as possible into a nearby building. Of course, oh god, do I call you guys the menagerie that you all are? See it, but her assailants do not. Once they take in the situation, the human woman sheathes her own sword, walks up to Grazek, and just holds out her hand expectantly. I need that. My friends are dead. Let me avenge them.
Again, can
Yeah.
you even wield
This lady
it?
is-
I'll tell you what. What you should do
Here,
is have a little brawl for it. The two of you, without any weapons.
idea. I'm just gonna snarl at
Mhm.
this lady, and I'm gonna get like real channel inner dragon here, just be like, I am Grazak, chosen of Apsu, Terendelev. Rest her great immortal soul. And I don't really like the way you're acting, stupid human. Oh, you step away now. And yeah, I'm gonna roll for intimidate on that.
If you would please, yeah. She and her friends look incensed.
This is when I really wish I had bombs still.
What's that?
Because they're all standing next to each other. Boom.
Or just so I can open up my coat and let go. Let's not blow this out of proportion.
Slap my knees a little too hard on that one. Okay, yeah, 26 is good enough. At first, the woman is pretty offended that you take this tone of voice with her, and then she and her companions kind of like stop, back off, look at each other.
Now, do these people look like they're dressed up in Crusader? Like,
Are they false crusaders?
That would be a sense motive check, I suppose.
That's a good check. Okay, let's see.
I have
it.
that.
Anybody can do it. Doesn't mean you're going to be good at it.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Uh,
Oh, I'm clueless.
for
have more
once,
of a
I
clue
have
than
a
I do.
clue.
Yeah, no, these guys are on the level. Clearly, it's been a couple days since Canobras fell, and it doesn't take long, given all of that like abject horror and violence and wrath of the righteous. No, kidding. To have fallen upon these people for even the most battle-hardened of crusaders to fall to madness, and these guys aren't that. Certainly, they are capable of wielding the weapons they are carrying, but they're kind of just like they're basically what you guys were when you first got here, just crusaders out in the camps. They've heard a rumor, and that rumor is you guys don't need to roll. That is abjectly false and will be bad, and you will have killed someone for no reason in front of the Goddess of Mercy's shrine, which is all kinds of it goes south. But that doesn't make them cultists. That just makes them desperate.
All right. I look at them and go, all right, do you two know where the resistance is set up? We need to go speak to them if we can.
Okay. The three of them all kind of exchanged looks and no, I don't. I'm not sure there is a resistance. We saw in the sky. I believe Descari himself attacked the city of Canabres. If there's a resistance here, I don't even know where to think to look. As far as we knew, and they now realize their sacrifice has disappeared, and realizing that was a horrible thing for them to do, they kind of just overlook it and hope no one brings it up again. We thought we were the only ones left. As they take in the small army of you that you're carrying along. Clearly, we were wrong.
Well, now you found one form of resistance, so why don't you join the actual way to do it? And we can go collect this maiden that you believe to be a maiden. And we can make sure that she actually survives the day and doesn't get sacrificed to stupidity.
They all, incredibly ashamed, fall in line. The woman sees this happening, and she's, whether it's her house or a house, it's hard to say. The door has been knocked off its hinges. She's been kind of like peeking out the whole time out in the doorway, seeing what's going on. She comes running up to you and just, thank you so much. I was, my parents, they're a couple blocks from here. They're wounded.
All right. Now we have
Alright.
Motive, sense motive.
Yeah, you beat mine.
She's too traumatized to lie.
All right, so I suggest we keep searching the city till nightfall, then find a place to like set up like a base camp if we can't find an actual resistance. And if by nightfall we haven't come up with like an actual resistance, then we can go ahead and kill the that person. That is my
Well,
thoughts.
I'd rather just give
About going to Blackwing.
Mongrelman. You're already dealing with her. If we find anybody that looks like, and I start holding, or I get Delvin to hold the armor that looks like how they were dressed. If you see anyone like this, slit their throats.
They all nod understandingly.
But until then, please don't, because until then, they're still useful.
So mechanically, 4 mongrel men have a ready. Well, 2 have to carry this treasure. Mechanically, 2 mongrel men have a readied coup de grace in case something goes bad. So as you guys are discussing things, the we say woman, she probably is like she might be 15 years old, maybe. Just please, my parents are wounded. They need help. They need food. They need water. They're not far from here.
Take us to them.
First off, y'all 3, 4, 5? Was it 5 or 3?
I think there were 2 guards and then the girl, right?
There are 3 knights.
Oh, 3 knights.
And 1 anime quoting a maiden.
Okay, so you 3 need to apologize.
Oh, absolutely.
They all look awkward at each other. And just the woman approaches the maiden and just, forgive me, we were wrong. We are desperate. She doesn't make eye contact during any of this. The maiden is terrified as they approach her, but nods and desperate times.
Just be lucky I don't have any real power, or else I'd make you pledge your sword to her.
We will do what we can to make amends. Won't we? And she turns in the direction of her subordinates. They nod.
All right, now that that's taken care of, let's find your parents so that we can take care of them as well.
Unfortunately,
starting to get very concerning.
Yeah. That 9 was my sense motive, because I hear, oh, my parents are trapped. I immediately think ambush.
Oh.
I mean, an ambush for like 1,400 people, though.
Oh,
I mean, I guess
I'm thinking ambush as well.
Could be.
Yeah.
The metagame part of my brain is going, every adventure path has at least one good random encounter. There has to be a good random encounter.
The Sandpoint Devil!
Well, we're doing our
add
best
3
to
knights and to our 4 mongrel men, and the 4 of us can go meet up and get her parents while everyone else watches. And I'm just hoping the mongrel men can take the knights plus woman if the 4 of them are actually working together.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I can stay back a little bit because I can actually do stuff from range.
Yeah. I will say with the 9 on Delvin's sense motive, it's an ambush is likely. An ambush is the proper tactic of these people. Well, not, I guess proper is the likely tactic. That said, you probably have the numbers. Okay, so you guys are led to a pretty... The house is run down as if by some miracle the cellar has survived. Inside the cellar are 2 elderly humans. One is very, very badly burned. The other is... She's not missing any digits, but you can see from the infected wound running down the length of her right arm, she came very close to just flat losing her hand. They lay kind of just up against the wall. Clara opens the door and just, Mother, Father, I have help.
Okay, I'll have her stay outside for a while, and I'll go in first.
Okay.
I'll go in right behind you.
I'll ride one of them.
Ride me, since I'll be in first.
Delvin can get in, but it will be tight.
At the moment, I will stay outside, ready, and I will be looking for folks to crash the party from outside.
Okay.
But
Well, you guys make your way down, and it seems to be on the up and up. They're obviously pretty badly wounded.
Okay. Give me just a second here. I cast Channel Energy and heal them each for 9.
Okay.
Hey,
That's-
Grazik?
Yeah.
Do you see
Two.
anything?
do I see anything?
Yeah, air quotes see.
Oh, out of character, I don't have that ability.
His archetype did trade out Detect Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perception, though. The next best thing.
Yep, then we'll all do a perception after I've healed them up.
That seems good, yeah. Let's get one from Delvin, too, outside.
Oof.
15.
Okay, so
Grazik did a
Oh.
good one.
so Grazik
Yeah.
you don't have scent, do you?
Kitty has sent.
I do
And
not.
so does my familiar.
Nice.
Kitty will look.
Kitty look indeed. Plus smell. Okay, so the place there's nothing of value here. It's safe. If there were anything in ambush, it would have to be like an invisible thing. And the building is not big enough. The cellar is not for, like, you would bump into them. Somebody would. Bringing the 4, 6 of you in total down here. There's nowhere to hide at this point. Someone would bump shoulders with someone. Delvin, thankfully enough, it's quiet outside for you.
Me feels like that's a challenge, but I also don't take you up.
Well said.
Are you folks all right?
I think we will be. The woman looks at her arm, which is, the scar will probably always be there, but the inflamed, pussy red grossness is gone. The man's charred flesh looks a little more like new skin now.
Do they look okay for circumstances? That's
Yeah.
a heal.
Yeah,
Nah.
pretty much.
Right.
And so I healed them, so they should be okay. Are you okay to move? We'd like to get out of here and find a place to actually set up a fortification so that things can't get into us
Safe, yeah.
and hurt you guys.
The three, they look at each other and, well, if Clara trusts you, we'll, of course. And they get up and begin making their way outside. Clara kind of hangs back as you guys are heading out, and she kind of like looks awkwardly in the direction of where the cellar door remains open.
What is it?
I just really hope those nights are on the up and up. You travel, you hear things.
What'd you hear?
And she kind of, like, it hits her really fast as she takes you guys in. We'd heard that Terendelev was taking a new squire is probably the wrong word for a dragon, but it was you, right? Looking at Grazik.
Can I cock my head back? Well, I was a squire, but she did bring me into her fold. Yes.
And her body has been taken deep into the world wound. I'm really sorry. It
Just
must...
kind of let out a very grumble, and there's a pregnant pause as I'm just kind of pacing back and forth a little bit, fighting the urge to smash something.
How do you know all of this?
I saw it. Fortunately, the demons were preoccupied with their new trophy, and I was able to escape. Though I suppose, given that the people that I have seen since everything happened, they say that where the wardstone once stood, there's a portal to the abyss, and that portal's growing. I imagine there'd have to be an army coming from somewhere in Mendev to help. Certainly, this can't happen without someone knowing about it, right? You can't just waltz into one of the cities on the border with the world wound, attack it, and people not hear about it. Who knows when they'll get here? I don't necessarily want to say that the Mendevian army is coming if they... And she gets a little quiet as she looks in the direction of I guess, like, Delvin's shadow as it falls over, like, into the cellar. In case they aren't who they say they are.
You keep pointing towards the cellar. Why?
Because outside, we're traveling with people that wanted to kill me. I apologize, but I suppose I would too if I didn't want to be found out that I was some cultist.
I understand that, but, like, is there something in the cellar, or is that just a safe spot?
She's looking, to be clear, she is looking up the door. You guys are presently in the cellar. She is looking outside.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Alright.
This changes things a little bit. So you're saying you want to stay here?
There's too many of us. We can't. Your big friend could probably get down here, but where would we... There's no room for us to lay down. We need to find somewhere bigger.
That
Oh, we weren't
is the
planning on
plan.
staying here.
Okay.
All right. So once we get out, I'm gonna have everyone start looking for a suitable place that we can, set up camp, like a suitable, building.
Oh,
That
how far
looks like it
away
might be
was
defensive.
that Blackwing library that
Oh yeah, maybe the library.
Alrathred kept saying that? Because besides the two households for the others, the library sounds like it's the only place that chance of having some people there.
And it happens to be pretty close. You guys, maybe not necessarily... Well, no. Grazik probably has literally been to Blackwing. So it's like Tarendaleth had quite a vault of knowledge, but that's not to say you don't necessarily need to go to the library occasionally. Delvin has probably, and Kieran too, have probably at least heard of the place in passing, because it's a pretty important building in Canabras. You guys could probably reach it in about 30 minutes.
That sounds like a decent place
Make
to
up
be our
your
next
minds
target.
there.
I'm not opposed.
Okay. So I just need to... It turns out I don't have enough tokens made for their retinue that is now following the party, so we will... Chief Soul will play the role of Clara, and 3 Ankylosaurs for 3 knights, I suppose. And Mom and Dad... Who are Mom and Dad? What can they be? They can be Narset and Chewy. Yeah, works for me. Okay.
As we're making our way there, Could we ask the knights to see if they know if where any of the other like city guards or soldiers might be? There is like a stronghold or some sort of garrison that.
Yeah, we already asked, and they thought they were the only ones here.
That is correct.
Oh, no, if they're the only ones here, but surely there's like, like a headquarters or a stronghold where the military or the guard has a presence at.
We're asking previous defensive buildings and positions.
As far as they are concerned, or as far as they know, I guess, rather, those buildings have all fallen.
Been overrun?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were probably the first buildings attacked.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, it was worth a shot.
Alrighty. If I could direct your attention to map 2, which is presently all under the fog of war. I need to share it with you guys, don't I? Boom, there you go. As you guys get a little bit of the mask revealed, and boom, retinue. Yeah, we're using some tokens that don't make sense, but I wasn't prepared to have a menagerie of people. We'll be good, though. As you guys make your way in the direction of Blackwing, it's not long before, there's a lot of people here, and people can be, quiet for the purpose of, don't be super loud, but people are talking to each other. And Daravashniel gets a bit of a spring in his step as he realizes he's going where he wants to go. Of course, he can't spring too hard or he will fall. It is not long before the building comes into view. Let me go from the random encounters page to that page. Okay, so boom.
Kitty?
Meow. Oh, yes, your cat needs a token. That is correct. Okay. And the party is one bigger. Toy. I actually think I literally have a cat somewhere in here. Or did I delete it?
Yeah, there was a cat on the
Sylvanchi.
on map 1. Yeah.
Good enough.
Delvin gonna need one for his?
Will, for now, it's hanging out close to me, so unless there's a need.
Makes sense. Okay. So you guys, if everyone can make a reception check, actually, if you would. Pretty
Just
pleased.
let me know if perception deals with rock or stonework.
It does.
It does. Yay.
Okay, so Tempe doesn't get a whole heck of a lot of much. But it's pretty clear to... Grazik just kind of sees building that is destroyed. But Kieran flying around and Delvin, with Delvin's knowledge of stone, it's curious that only, the library has been ruined here. You guys have been traveling throughout Canabras, and a lot of Canabras is in ruins, but all the buildings around this place are fine. It's just the library that has been reduced to rubble. As you guys are looking around, Aravashna just, well, are they... Is it... I'm sorry, I can't see. Someone, please.
It's gone.
What?
I'm sorry, Elfman.
It's unusually destroyed, almost like it was the plan to make it appear destroyed so no one would screw with it. Does that sound familiar?
They were trying to destroy some knowledge that was held within.
You guys say this, and Aravashniel goes rigid for a second before eventually just collapsing to his knees and crying with ruined eyes, probably is the most painful thing. Like to push the what tears he can form out of his eyes. It's not long before the sobs turn to gags, turn to vomit, as
Oh, jeez.
he's just nothing he's saying is words. He's lost himself to despair. It's not quiet.
I mean, before
Hey,
you
we
get too
don't-
broken up, why don't we go actually check it out? Just saying.
He seems to not
I'll
hear you.
kneel down and say,
Don't count the
any of
broken.
your comrades might still be alive. They might not who's in there or who's dead or not.
Well, let's go search out what we can, salvage what we can from the ruin.
Okay.
You said that there were people still around?
No, he's just talking about our menagerie.
Oh,
You got a lot of friends.
That
okay, yeah, I
and
was confused by that.
that and the fact that this area appears to be less damaged than the rest of the city.
So as you guys make your way in the direction of the library, it isn't long before you hear. Oh, what would that sound like? There's a door up front that's hanging kind of ajar. A firm yet you can all hear the warble of the chaos that is set in on everyone's mindsets. Just no, 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 no. Stack the books higher now. And there's a female voice inside that's basically just weeping despondently.
Hold.
Inside?
Mhm.
And this is the door over here?
Right.
To the library.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start
Hold.
heading that way towards the door.
Oh,
We are not.
hold up there.
We are not of the
elder.
demon incursion. We are of the anti-demon incursion. We have one of your members around here somewhere. Aravashniel. Do you want to calm down a little bit?
He wipes his mouth, points at Kieran as message is cast, and just I don't recognize that voice.
I don't know how. I've been here for a few years.
Not you, fool.
Whose voice?
The person inside the library.
Well, let's go check it out.
Let's.
Aravashniel cast message?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This makes more sense.
Aravashniel moves with as much purpose as he can in the direction of the library. Two of the knights flank him. Non-combatants are non-combatants. The head knight stays back. Grandma and Grandpa Chewie and Narset, they do their thing.
Wee. Blink. Wee. Blink.
It'd be smarter if you let me go in front, Tempe.
I don't get damaged as easily. That's why I was thinking, just in case we get ambushed, it'd be better if I were in front, and then you can go into the front after the fight starts.
Okay, so when you two get there, the door is hanging ajar, and you can kind of see inside of it. So too can the tieflings that are guarding the door. They see you, they both have rusty daggers in their hands, and they turn and, boss, they're coming in. Well, just stop them. We're almost there. Go, do as you're told. And they just kind of smile wickedly, as if we could, roll initiative one more time, please. Actually, let's keep the initiative we No, I deleted it. Roll initiative. Except for Tim, who goes last.
Okay.
Nice. I assume Kieran has the better dex mod.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't think I have improved initiative.
Alrighty. So then that means first up is Kieran.
Yeah.
I'm
I do it.
not a big fan of GM NPCs, but Aravash is going to participate in this one.
So I'm first.
I suppose you guys would probably see more like that from your angle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop, nope. I actually grab a token. Guessing 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm imagining I can get to there.
That seems fair.
And
So as Kieran flies on in, Kieran sees that a pair of tieflings truly do guard the door. The 4 individuals in the back are just 4 humanoid men tied up in the corridor of a now ruined library with a pile of books surrounding them as this woman here continues to pile the books around them higher and higher and higher. The man standing behind her with his mace leveled at her dome is wearing the resplendent armor of Iomedae, now stained with blood. His face is dusty and bloody and caked with madness. He turns and sees you and just, kill the little thing. Hopefully this sacrifice will be enough to direct your lord to me. Why couldn't you have gone faster? Turning and lunging in the direction of the woman who cries out.
Oh, no, you don't.
so Kitty will go through the rubble. There's that.
Okay.
And I'll get to there. Now we go to actions. And nope, not this. Do this, and then if I can hide behind the door, that's the thing. If I push the right button, actually. My damn.
Attack at 27 definitely hits, and a 17 is... Do you target the one on the left or the right?
The one the cat's gonna... That'd be the right.
Alright, so I'm going to start getting the habit, because it's relevant for this party here. I'm going to turn this upside down as you they turn, they see you, you flitter in, 1, 2, 3, spin the sling, and boop, in the head, and he just kind of collapses like a sack of potatoes. His dagger clangs on the ground.
Okay. And the, I guess the cat would still do that. And, Kitty Nom.
Kitty Nom indeed.
Oop.
I saw it too.
Hold on. Apparently I broke things.
Well done. There you go. Okay. So, the cat goes to ankle bite and this guy falls down and the little tiny cat is able to just truly pounce and get into the tiefling's throat. He begins to bleed on the floor. Will that be up?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Oh, I'll tell them one's down. Guy's bad. Girl seems good, and there's 4 hostages.
Okay, so when this happens, it's this tiefling's turn. It's gone real bad, real quick, and the sound of the talking outside probably isn't super quiet yet. No, this guy's gonna just 5, I know we kind of have to guess here, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, just kind of try to disappear, taking a double move down the street. And then it passes to, I believe, Delvin, doesn't it? Yeah, passes to Delvin.
Okay. Is this location... How big is that hole in the wall there?
It is. You could probably squeeze through.
Okay. How beat up is the wall there? So if I'm trying to figure out if I just charge, if I'm likely to go through the wall or get stopped by the wall. That'd be perception with stonework.
Yeah, it seems fine.
And I can also roll engineering if that helps.
Nah, the stone cutting is probably what we're looking for here. You can. The library, despite its ruined state, was made of pretty sturdy stone. That said, you aren't small. It's possible you get stuck. It's possible you break down the wall. Kind of only one way to find out.
Charge.
Okay. Give me a CMB, I suppose.
CMB.
You're kind of bull rushing the wall, kind of overrunning the wall.
Okay. There we go. And yeah, not terrible.
Good enough for me. Delvin drops his shoulder and runs, and when the shoulder connects, there's a sound of stone breaking, a audible wince from Aravashnial. And in you come. The man with the bloody armor sees you and turns your direction. And if that is all...
I don't think I have a... There's... Oh! Can I still cast?
You've used a full round action, so you have a swift action.
Okay.
And your Compsognathus has its full turn, too.
Okay. Well, then don't worry about it.
Alrighty.
I'll just look at him and say, betrayer.
He glares and snarls, and it passes to Grazik.
As much as I would love to do the same thing, I'm not confident in my ability to charge through giant wall just yet.
There is a mythic ability for that.
This, hold on. Looks like there's a hole like right here, right below Delvin. Is that something that can be passed through or not?
Yeah, you would have to squeeze in, but you probably could.
Okay.
Kitty fits fine.
I have to make a check for that, or?
It's just double movement for a turn. Like that square costs 10.
Oh. After going 10?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm blocking Delvin.
Okay. Will that be all?
Sorry. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Actually, I'll make my full move action to get up right next to him. Oh. Do I have enough movement for that?
You can probably get 5 more feet. Yeah, he's technically in this square. We'll say.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then it passes. I'm sorry, you were going to say something?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm done.
Okay. So. Ooh, okay, so he sees Grazik come up in his face, and he looks you up and down and just, Terendalev's little plaything. Surely, he cracks, so he doesn't crack his knuckles. I crack my knuckles for flavor. Surely, Baphomet will be pleased if I offer you a sacrifice. He points his mace at you. As he does so, he inside here is not difficult terrain, because otherwise a lot of people who have moved would have had to have moved double. So he's gonna 5-foot step, and I have that. Okay, I needed to double check what that ability did, so I add that.
Drawn, by the way. So does he react at all to that?
So your grill.
I'm just gonna be wielding it as the sword.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, he reacts by moving forward and swinging at you for a 29 to hit.
Let's hit.
Okie dokie. 4. I'm pretty sure that adds to that. Yeah. It's been a little while since I played a Cavalier. I believe I add that to my damage too. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, in the comments, chew me out. 17 bludgeoning damage.
Hurt, but I'm still up.
Okay. As that happens, the woman, where's she gonna go? Sorry, I'm drawing in my head. She's good. She moves back here and she withdraws a knife from like inside her shirt that has been concealed, and she begins sawing on the ties that bind these poor individuals to the like hands behind back, legs together on their knees, and I'll turn him sideways. He has been released, and Tempe.
Okay. I'm going to cast Murderous Command on the main dude up there. I need a DC 19 will save. So next turn, he's going to spend his action attacking his friend.
Okay. Understood. Wheel that be all.
Yep, that'll be it.
Okay, so then in that case, at this time, I usually say this when I'm playing Kingmaker, but it stands to reason here the A-Train is going to get a little greedy, but is more than good enough. He passes the acrobatics check. He begins moving. It's just dumb luck, I guess, basically, that he doesn't trip and fall on his face as he steps into the door, incants words in an ancient tongue, and oh, I have to imagine I have that spell on my spell list. I'm going to be double great for the both of us as I dive to the other end of this AP, but this is his house. He wouldn't just sit here and let bad things happen to it. So, does my man's have... My man's does not have Magic Missile. What's wrong with you? Strong is a horrible caster. He dies. I hate him. Instead, he'll cast that, yeah. So he begins to do an incant, and the warrior's eyes get really heavy for a second, but he just kind of shakes it off. All right, Vashniel spits on the ground, and it passes to Kieran.
5. I don't know if he cares about me, but I will be looking up acrobatic.
Okay, so I'm just gonna.
Oh, this could be bad.
Okay, so it would still provoke. He's on his next turn. He's gonna go smack a tiefling.
That might be the CMD. Probably.
It might. Just doing a quick double check here. Okay, that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure my melee attack was actually dealing extra damage. Okay, so a 13 over my CMD is... Yeah, no, that wouldn't... My BAB is 4, so it would provoke. Unfortunately, he kind of isn't really paying attention. Well, that doesn't hurt my ability to hit you. I just don't get the big buff. So it's just plus this. Swinging at the kitty with a mace. Meow. 18 to hit the kitty?
Yeah, that hits.
I always feel so bad when I do that. I'm a horrible, horrible person. And 6 points of damage to the kitty as the mace wings it in the back of the head.
That's good damage.
Okay. That is the end of my interruptions.
Why it rolls damage first, but that's a thing.
I mean, in any case, it gets there. It's definitely, like, you can tell it's a lot easier to hit this dude because he's not paying attention to you at all. He just, like, he is solely focused on bashing Grazik's brain in, and then the rock pings off his armor and, like, into his ear, and he turns, and, well, he doesn't even turn. He is solely focused at the moment. Actually, no, he's not. I lied completely. He's more focused on, maybe I should kill that tiefling instead. Sacrifice the tiefling! And then, boop, in the back of the head.
And then I will duck behind Eravashniel.
Sure.
And
Okay, duly noted.
do my
That is a lot more damage. I thought the bite was the sneak attack. So that was actually not the ping of a rocket. A cat bites him and it hurts, and then the thing I described happens. And it doesn't feel good. He probably sees you. Yeah, he's at this point, he's a little more focused on everything else, though. And if that is all...
Yep.
You guys hear the sounds of that other tiefling fleeing down the street, and it passes to Delvin.
Move forward, smack him mightily, and have my baby dinosaur bite.
Sure.
So,
I do find it funny that because both of us are not just straight up magicians, our familiars can actually fight because they don't have paper people 8 health pools.
Yeah, right. Did that with a fighter once. It was kind of sweet. A 17 does hit. He is too focused on Grazik.
And flanked.
And also flanked.
insane.
Ooh, he
I'll
is
run
also
the-
flanked.
and this is the attack for the beastie.
Okay.
Let me double check. Oh shoot, I closed that down.
It's all good.
I
A
believe
familiar
the
uses
plus
your base
4.
attack. A familiar uses the character's base attack, so we'd be at
Okay.
plus its
So-
dex,
That'd be 11.
which
so
misses.
probably misses.
Mm-hmm. He just
But-
kind of gets a chunk of his plate mail.
Yep.
But you definitely hit him.
And since it's large, it's 2d6 plus strength. So here we go. So 14 points.
And if you would like to flavor that kill,
As he's standing there trying to decide, getting bit by Kitty and getting otherwise messed with, my familiar comes up, jumps at his face. He dodges to the side and steps right to where I'm swinging down a large overhand chop. And that about does him.
yeah, he kind of... You don't necessarily cut him in twain, but there's a sizable wedge. Well, no, you're not attacking with an axe anymore. You're attacking with a giant knife. So maybe not a wedge so much as just a slash as the chaos in his eyes. Maybe we should have played Warhammer instead. That's how I keep phrasing this. The chaos in his eyes
Chaos.
flies as he is well and truly sent to... Oh god, I haven't played enough Warhammer. Bind me to chaos is the quote from Warhammer Total War.
Word.
And down he goes. Initiative is off. Eravashniel makes his way into the... I won't delete him, so I remember to loot him. Into the library as the woman continues freeing these individuals that are tied up. And
All right,
The woman...
Did any of us take any actual damage?
I did.
Yes.
Kitty.
And Grazik.
Okay.
I'm good though. I can take care of myself. In fact, I'm going to heal up right now.
Okay.
Is it like an ability that you have to use? How are you going to do that?
I imagine
No,
he's going
I
to
got
lay on
lay
hands.
Though I
Okay.
did take 17 points of damage.
Yeah. Go ahead and let me do that, and I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys up here, as well with that. So give me just.
We're gonna bind him and throw him in the corner.
Of course. As you are wont to do.
The tiefling. Yeah.
Okay. Take 12 and.
Taking more prisoners here.
Yes.
Uh,
And we're freeing prisoners.
Well, hopefully the other prisoners or the lady helping the bad guy are magic users.
oh, I was referring to the tiefling that you're tying up. They were tying up.
All I want to know from the tiefling is, what can you tell us about what's going on? And then, I see no reason to keep him around.
Okay.
I feel like
So
the
it's-
same could be said for a few of the people that we're holding around.
Yeah.
I has more personal questions for Tommy at some point in time
Okay.
because character is character.
That's fair. Is that like something you wouldn't ask on stream?
It'll happen on stream maybe, but it's more along the lines of I'm a vivisectionist. I'm literally a torturer and an information gatherer, kind of.
That's true.
That's
Well,
one aspect of my character,
mhm.
and I don't know how you want to do that.
We can just veil when things would be gross. Use your best judgment, basically. Certainly, like, if it's what you do, it's what you do, but lines don't cross. In any case, the woman frees the rest of the humanoids that are tied up, and they all turn and they just, like, in the direction of Aravashniel. Lord Aravashniel, you've returned. Your eyes. They begin to move in his direction, and he does the best he can to put on airs, but as dirty as he is and as beat up as he is, it's pretty impossible. What happened here? Where are my associates? I'm sorry, Lord Arvashniel, they're dead. We were attacked. A man made of worms who had slaved the demons. I suspect he's taken many treasures from this place, but we don't know what.
Say a man made of worms.
That is correct.
I believe that's what he said.
Affirmative. That was what he said.
And Aravashniel gets real, like, in thought as all this, like, information hits him.
Although it could be worse, he could have been made of worms instead of worms.
A man made of elder dragons. Run for your life.
I feel like I'd
Very
be slightly
tiny
more
ones.
comfortable with that. Grazak would be slightly more comfortable with that. At least he knows what he's dealing with there. Worms? Nope. The worms?
Aravashniel turns in the direction of the female voice, and you, gods, Fenna is your name, correct? Where is Quindus? Have you found his body? No, Lord Aravashniel. We believe he was in the area of the cathedral during the attack. He's not returned.
who is this person he's looking? Whose body?
Are there stairs?
There are not stairs. As Delvin goes a looking around, well, for one thing, to get this one out real quick, the man with the bloodied armor who you've chopped into pieces. I may or may not have misspoken in my flavor text. He did not have plate mail. He has banded mail. A light steel shield. 29 gold pieces. 2 potions of cure light wounds. And a +1 heavy mace.
Can't do my job if I can't get to the thing. You're just gonna have to get close. Okay.
I don't suppose any of them would have nowhere a potion that might cure our Vashnel's eyes, or the broken leg might be.
They do not. In addition,
How about where a defensible location that may have survived this battle be?
well, you guys can kind of tell. There is a sizable hole now where Delvin hulked through, but the doors were hanging ajar because they were left open. The doors could be shut. If that were to happen, this isn't the worst place to set up for the night. You could probably grab like a bookshelf or 4 and jam them where the hole is, right? So at least there would have to be a little bit of effort involved before a demon came through.
Right, but I'm looking for like a building that may still be intact.
And I would think of a building like this one, a library might have, I don't know, secret vaults and little hidden hideaways where we have a room for restricted books. That sort of thing.
Is there that sort of thing around here?
There is not. I will say also, Delvin, as you pick through the rubble inside the room, you find, there must be about a half dozen of them, give or take. At first it appears to be humanoid flesh on the ground, but upon closer inspection, they about the size of a human's finger, dried up and dead worms.
Oh, God. Oh, that's gross. That's gross.
I will point it out to I have some knowledge in planes and knowledge arcana, which is a better choice.
Would
Probably
knowledge religion do it?
all of those are at least in the right neighborhood to get some kind of information.
Okay.
Okay. .22 with the arcana.
Okay. And Tempe's got a 17 on a religion check. Okay, so between the arcana and the religion check, well, actually, no, first to
I
address...
got a 19, not a 17. Yeah.
Even better. Nice. I'm good at reading. The 28 on the knowledge nature from Kieran. It's just readily apparent, especially for a fae, that these worms are not of the material plane. What they are exactly is... It's hard to say, but the arcana... Well, yeah, the arcana and the religion check together are pretty good. Let me grab some flavor text really quickly. I've actually fought one of these. It was very satisfying to take it down. Between the two of you, you have heard tales of when a powerful spellcaster with a strong personality, a lust for life, and a remorseless evil soul bites the big one and is buried in a graveyard which is infused with eldritch magic. Sometimes this strange phenomenon where the body, instead of decaying, bloats. will occur. That bloated flesh calls worms from not the material plane to the body to consume the body. Not just the body. Once they're done with the body, they consume the caster's memories and magical power. In doing so, the spellcaster's soul is also consumed, only to be split about 1 billion different ways to inhabit each of these individual worms that are called to the body of the thing. The result is a hive mind of slithering, takes the form of a human, but skin is nothing but just worms forever, known as a worm that walks. It can wield all of the powers the spellcaster had in life. It retains memories of that former life, but is not undead, rather just a hideous, basically just an amalgamation of vermin. It's pretty clear that's what came here.
So it would be like an abomination? Is that what it would be classified as?
It is literally classified as vermin.
Oh, it's a vermin. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Though you'd think it'd be an aberration. You really would. And I was surprised to scroll up and be like, oh, that's a vermin. But it is one of the most powerful forms of like evil arcane casters in the known multiverse. It's certainly one of those, like, there are probably posters up, like propaganda posters throughout the camps, like, if you see this, in the direction of, like, say, like a Baylor, don't fight it, call someone bigger than you. And the same is true for, like, liches, grave knights. The undead aren't as populous here. A worm that walks falls in that purview as well.
Glad we're only level 3.
Yeah, there's like 20 of you. You'd be fine.
Future boss.
Yeah. I guess I'll. Hey, Tempe.
Good.
We should probably round all that
I
up.
will detect magic.
Okay. Detect magic would
Worms
ping.
look like they've left some sort of trail.
No. It looks more like they just fell off. Or perhaps rather as if they had been damaged. As if someone tried to, like, they kind of look like a burned worm. If that makes sense at all, which might lead you guys with pretty good checks. With pretty good checks, that would lead you guys to think that, like, a spell hit the worm that walks and mechanically did hit point damage to it, but was not enough to do that much harm. It just kind of burnt a couple worms off. Detect magic pings what the woman who Ari Vashniel has referred to as Fenna is pulling from the pile of books, a spell book. I can kind of use this. I'm sorry, this is all that's left, Lord Aravashniel. Perhaps you all can put it to good use. And she sets the spellbook down.
Your formulas are so derivative, but sure, why not?
Yeah. Spellcraft or Knowledge Arcana?
The read magic cantrip. We'll give it all of you. We'll give you all of it, rather. Namely, alarm, dismissal, dispel magic,
Always useful.
magic circle against chaos, resist energy, and versatile weapon. In addition, as you guys flip through, inside the book tucked away is a scroll. Read magic pings it as a scroll of dimensional lock.
Ooh. That might be useful later.
And I have used magic device, so I'll be able to use it.
Okay.
And that's if it's not already on my. What did you say it was? Dimensional lock?
Yes.
That may not be on my list. I can check.
I feel like that's an arcane spell. I could be wrong.
That is.
As you guys are perusing, the librarians all kind of just like, they don't like cling to him like hordes of the undead, but they have surrounded Aravashnial. Just please, Lord Aravashnial, you must stay with us. Please help us protect the library. You're the last Rift Warden left alive. Aravashnial is still blind,
That's
but
concerning.
he stands tall. And he turns to the party and just, I should stay with them, my friends.
I mean, I guess we could set up here. Do we have any people that could maybe help us build this place up so that it's? I mean, I know we got a lot of people.
Yeah,
so
you
that we
guys
can,
might as well have
you
a
know-
construction team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can start putting the rubble back together, and
Yeah, well, we can
Yeah.
start by clearing the rubble away and then putting it back together.
so are you for librarians or baby magicians?
Both. They're the help, Kieran.
Okay. So you have mending.
Do they have mending? Let me. Yeah, the woman steps up and just, I can do what I can.
Okay. So you need to make a scroll of mending or show them your book so they can prepare mending. And that's your job.
I'm not a magician, but won't it take a lot of time and resource to build or scroll?
What?
I'm not a mage, but wouldn't it take a lot of time and resources to make a scroll?
I'm hoping she has her spell book on her.
She
It
does.
still takes some time. I think it takes like an hour per level of the spell.
Yeah.
An hour.
I was concerned with like the monetary cost for it, like if they had or any other.
Well, there's probably enough paper around here that we could.
I mean,
Like-
it's like 75 gold for a cantrip.
And also, like, the spell book, I didn't list them out, but, like, it has every wizard cantrip, as spell books do. So they certainly all could prep mending from it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
get to prepping mending. Have fun. We'll work on defenses.
They all nod.
If we can get walls and such put back up fairly quick. I don't know if they
I can
can,
help.
I don't know if they can mend over that work to improve it.
Well,
Ideally, we don't want to have to spend a long time here anyway. Maybe.
Oh, we're not
Yes,
leaving
but-
this place for a while.
another thing is if you guys are preparing to rest, Delvin does have a once a day stone shape, which could fix the hole he made. I just now realized that. I'm sorry, I should have said something.
Well,
would
that's
probably
what
be
I
a good
was
place to
thinking.
rest for now. Yeah.
Plus, like stone shape, that would affect a much larger area. So you could do that once a day for a little while and help put this place back.
Yeah, that would depend on whether or not we stay here or head out of town.
The general consensus amongst the people who are following you is that this place seems mostly safe to stay the night. It's like nowhere is going to be safe in Canabras, but there are 4 walls and there's a big enough space where everyone can fight should something happen.
Ideally, we wouldn't want this place to be like our permanent headquarters.
No, not permanent, but it's a place that held information. And information has a way of seeping into the building it's held in.
All right, fair.
And if we can make it defensible, then even if it's not our main area, then we could make it like, a place that we can go to when we're in town or in this section of.
Yeah, that all tracks.
Oh. What now? Uh-oh.
Now it's 5:12.
It is indeed. This is probably the best place I can think. I will say, also, I almost forgot. It's going to be kind of double dipping because I have him in 2 games because he went from a bi-weekly patron to a tier 7 patron, which is kind of why Nigel didn't get the best Final Fantasy birthday reward. But I will say Delvin also finds a Pearl of Power for a level 1 spell amidst the ruins.
Okay.
It is made of... what's dwarfy? It's made of adamantine. It's a lot smaller than the average pearl, probably like the size of like your pinky nail, but it's really, really, really durable. Man, functions as a level 1 Pearl of Power. Buying off some of that Kensei diminished spell casting. Why can't I gotta learn to clap good. In any case, there, now I am powerful. I will say that session did not go where I thought it would. I will also say I enjoyed that a lot more than, like, the session, like, where you take everyone to places, which is, like, where the AP wants you to pull. It's kind of like pulling back the GM screen here, but, like, that much improv and exploration and danger and bad things that are happening is a lot of fun for me. So this one has been really good, and I'm glad we got back to it. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks at some point when we all have an off weekend free. We'll get together and we'll catch one up, so it'll speed up a little bit. In any case, for now, be sure to like and subscribe and ding the bell for more of my loud chair that I'm sitting in. And say bye, guys.
Bye, guys.